A, czyli jednak muzyka z main menu się w końcu kończy. Siemano. Jeszcze musiałem pogarniać kilka spraw. A, już widzisz, że to main menu się kończy muzycznie. Myślałem, że będzie taki ambient. Teraz się odpaliło. Aha, nie, chwila. Nie, no jest dźwięk dobry. Już się bałem. No bo przygotowałem sobie tutaj postać, żeby zacząć jakoś sensownie. Albo sensownie. To jest dobrze powiedziane. No wiem, wiem. Po prostu musiałem sobie picie ogarnąć i tak dalej, spokojnie. I tak to będzie raczej cichy stream, bo się nie chcę nikogo pobudzić w nocy, a poza tym chcę się skupić na gierce, więc raczej będę to mało komentował. Dobra, ale koniec pisania w tym. Więc tak, informacyjnie nie mamy nic, dosłownie. Mamy tylko kurde księgi konfiguracyjne. Jeśli chodzi o czary, nie mamy nic, tylko no mamy, ale to są niestety, które się pozbyć nie mogę. Nie mamy żadnych zaklęć ofensywnych, ani nawet leczenia. Więc dosłownie nie mamy nic, jesteśmy biedakami. Jakieś złoto mamy, 0 złota. Oczywiście nie rozpoczynałem Vanilla Startu, tylko stawiłem się tutaj, że w razie takie ucieczka z Helgen, ale... Jakie lore? Lore takie w sumie, że po prostu coś jakby ala Vanilla, tylko że nie jesteśmy więźniami, co przyjechali na kartach, tylko jesteśmy więźniami, więźniem, który tam siedział już dosyć sporo czasu po prostu. No, a że Alduin zaatakował, to po prostu uciekliśmy z jednej z celi. Elo, nie mamy nic. Fresh start. Nie, elfka, a jest elfka. Jest leśna elfka. Normalnie. Leśna elfka wierząca w Ifry. Czyli coś jak Auri trochę. Tylko może nie aż tak do końca, bo jednak no nie będę się tutaj ograniczał, żeby w ogóle roślin nie zbierać, ani ich nie niszczyć. Mówmy się, to jest utrudnienie już zbyt mocne. To jest taka... jakby to powiedzieć... Nie zbiera wszystkich tych tenetów, czy jak się tam nazywało z angielskiego. Z questów to jedynie co mam odpalone to jest, no... Powiedzmy ucieczka z Helgen. No to na razie po prostu zostawmy na potem. No i mamy informację o Kajdanie. A to nawet nie wiem co to jest, więc do tej pory. Także jeżeli wszystko dzisiaj będzie dobrze, to sobie rozpoczniemy. Jeżeli się coś wykrzaczy mocniej, że zauważę, że to jest zbyt duży błąd, to jeszcze nie będzie początek. Po prostu będę tak pretendował, że na razie tak będzie start wyglądał. Zależy od elfa, wiesz? Bo jeżeli taki elf co tego Ulfre wierzył, no to kurde i jest Skyrim, no to może dalej w niego wierzyć, daje się go trzymać. Także postarajmy się nie stracić kurde bóstwa, bo ja nie wiem gdzie jest kapliczka nawet Ulfre, więc... Jak go stracę, to będzie przypał. Ewentualnie się zmieni na co innego. Na jakąś dedrę może albo coś. Chociaż do końca nie jestem pewny, jakie było leśne elfy, inne bóstwa niż Ifre mają. A tym bardziej dedry. Może Hirsina po prostu, albo coś w tym guście. No i tak dla ścisłości. Jesteśmy we wszystkim praktycznie na 1 i na 0. Nic nie mamy. Absolutnie nic. Ale Faendal może po prostu jakby nie być tym czcicielem Ifre. I jak coś nie gramy na legendarnym na start, nie ma szans. Próbowałem przy testach, ale to jest zbyt ciężkie. Zaczynamy od adepta i sobie co jakiś czas podniesiemy ten poziom po prostu, żeby było przyjemniej. Wiesz, ale no niby tak jest, lorowo tak jest, no tak to trzeba przyznać, ale to nie znaczy, że absolutnie wszyscy się tego wyparli, nie? A najmniejszy poziom bez przesady, po prostu adepcik. Żeby nie było za łatwo, ale też nie było jakoś za ciężko. I tak podejrzewam, że dostawał w dupę. Na razie to się skupmy na zbieraniu podstawowych rzeczy, żeby chociaż jakiś hajs mieć. Musimy też jakoś zdobyć kilof, czyli trzeba zbierać na kilo, bo może Alvor sprzedawać w sumie. Bo żadnego bandyty ja nie pokonam teraz, nie ma szans. Mówię, no nie mam ognia. Ja wszystko na zero tłumaczę tym, że ta postać siedziała w więzieniu i po prostu już straciła umiejętności we wszystkim. Jedynie co to ma speecha trochę więcej, bo jest ładna. Najgorzej. Jestem zły. Nie, ale po prostu fryzura zmienia. Dobra, chociaż nie, inaczej. Bo wszystko nie będzie na 1. Bo to zależy od fryzury po prostu. Na G, przepraszam bardzo. Bo to ta nam daje speecha, a ta nam daje jakieś podstawowe... Jakieś podstawowe do walki po prostu. Zapomniałem o tym małym aspekcie. Myślę, czy nie zająć się złodziejstwem na początku. Żeby po prostu jakiś mieć hajs więcej. I trochę tego sneaka wytrenować bardziej. A tak to na razie musimy skupić i na skórze, żeby mieć chociaż bukłak na wodę. Masz sporo wędek, nie obrazisz się. I jak coś, to też nie możemy sobie tak fajnie ryb po prostu zebrać, nie? Tak szybka demonstracja, ale no... No właśnie. Ryby uciekają albo nie da się ich złapać. Na to bardzo mała szansa. Trzeba łowić wędką. Jak się nic się nie upoluje i nie zdobędę żadnego łuku, to... Trzeba sobie radzić inaczej. Dobra, kwiatki, pierdoły. Jakieś składniki. Nie. To jest zaklęcie po prostu. O. Zaraz. To mi zniknęło? Czy ja tego nie widzę? Nie, to znika. To znika po tym, jak się tego użyje. To jest po prostu taka umiejętność, to jest CSL-ek. Na start gry po prostu masz zaklęcie, używasz go, on ci zeruje wszystko i znika. No cóż, no trzeba sobie jakoś radzić, no. A, i jeszcze takie małe utrudnienie sobie włożyłem, że nie mogę zapisywać w trakcie walki, więc... Lepiej zapisywać troszeczkę wcześniej, jeżeli jestem świadom zagrożenia jakiegokolwiek. O kurwa, no właśnie. Spierdzielamy. Dobrze, to zapisałem jeszcze trochę wcześniej.
I was never going to die in bed anyway.
Taka chillowa po prostu. W ciuchach więźnia na chillku do miasta wbijamy.
Damn legs playing up. I should see a healer one of these days.
W sumie nigdy z tym typem nie rozmawiając sobie porozmawiamy.
What I would give to see her again. Another stranger passing through Riverwood. Off on the next adventure, hmm?
You could say that.
Fair enough. But if you're seeking excitement and riches, this ain't the place, I'm afraid. Riverwood does have its charms, but I imagine they're not quite what you're looking for.
Charms? The most charming thing I've seen is probably the sawmill.
Vendal and Sven keep things interesting from day to day with their bickering. But it's not all bad. It's peaceful, quiet. The most exciting thing to happen here in recent memory was a drunken brawl over 2 cheese wheels and a chicken. It must be a Nord thing. In any case, I'm glad to have some time, and more importantly, respite from the world.
What brought you to Riverwood?
Here's the same as anywhere else, I suppose. Why not?
You just don't seem...
The Riverwood type? It's okay, stranger. I know what you mean. You're correct. I am no farmhand or errand boy. I am, or was, a soldier. But that life is behind me now. I've taken a few beatings in my time.
Widziałem. Kojarzę co to.
Sounds like a story.
You've got a good sense for it, that's for sure. I can tell you, if you'd like. But let's get somewhere more comfortable first. Come, follow me.
No dobra. Ruszy się, czy tego nie przewidziałem, że
I do apologize for the pace. My leg isn't quite what it used to be.
chyba musimy mu troszkę pomóc. Na takich błędów to już nie uniknę. Chociaż... O, no, przepraszam, nie odzywam się i jednak przeszedł. Już myślałem, że się zawiesi na drzewie.
Go.
Siemano, kieruj.
A dragon! I saw a dragon!
What? What is it now, Mother?
It was as big as the mountain and black as night. It flew right over the barrel.
Dragons now, is it? Please, Mother. If you keep on like this, everyone in town will think you're crazy. And I've got better things to do than listen to more of your fantasies.
You'll see. It was a dragon. It'll kill us all and then you'll believe me.
Ale przynajmniej już teoretycznie dał hinta o questie z Svenem i Fandale, żeby nie było tak z dupy to po prostu, to fajnie wyszło. Miałem naprawić te włosy u tych. Kurde, zapomniałem o tym. A dobra, to jest prosty fix.
There we go.
You were saying?
Let's make this absolutely clear. I don't know who you are or how you found me, but if you try anything, I will kill you. The Dominion pays well, of that I have no doubt. But even a cripple can still hold a blade.
You think I'm with the Thalmor?
Mercenaries come in many guises, so you'll have to forgive me for not taking you at your word. How much did they pay you? Your weight in jewels? The promise of an emissary's position? You're an idiot if you think the Dominion keeps its word.
You're paranoid. Do you accuse everyone that talks to you of being a spy?
Until I see evidence to the contrary, I have no reason to believe you. Riverwood is a quiet town. Good people here, and I won't let you change that.
And why would I be after you? I don't even know who you are.
Maybe so. But why did you approach me in the first place? I have no errands for you to run, no gold to spare. Huh. The only thing I have in abundance now is time.
I'm not your enemy. I only want to talk.
Very well. You seem honest enough. Let's sit down first. Then you can ask me whatever you'd like. My leg has started cramping again, as it is. I hope you'll not begrudge a veteran for being careful, but it pays to look out for one's enemies, no matter how long it's been.
You don't think you were being a bit paranoid?
No. If there's anything I know for certain, it's that the Thalmor never forget those who cross them. Even a sleepy village like Riverwood can attract unwanted attention, if you're not careful.
What did you do to the Dominion?
The better question is, what didn't we do? I'm from a small hamlet on the edge of Alakir. Conditions could be worse than Morrowin's at times, but it was honest, and life made sense.
You sound like you miss it.
But there's too much bad blood there now. Too many bad memories. Not just me, but for us all.
What changed?
The Dominion, of course. I was still half a boy at that age. Bull-headed, rash. But I wanted to make a difference. Help the fight against elven supremacy. Ugh. Thalmor forces were already in Hammerfell before the Great War had officially started, so I began working with a local band across the Alakir. Must have been quite a shock to the elves, to come from lush grasslands and comfort to nothing but desolate wastes as far as the eye can see. Lutes and poetry weren't going to be much help there. There's an old saying that the sands swallow all. We'd use the storms to cover our approach, and strike quickly before they had a chance to react. Most of us were just pulled from local settlements, men and women that had been thrown into warfare with only basic martial training. But we made it work, fought as hard as anything to keep our home.
Were you successful?
For a time, we had some close calls, and magic is always an unknown in combat. But we fought hard, won a few victories, even joined a battle near the entrance of Montelion. That was chaos if I ever saw it. Soon enough, the locals who had barely learned to hold the right end of a blade were veterans, forged through blood and war.
You must have been proud.
Of course, we might not have known each other at the start, but going through that together brought a kind of bond. A mutual understanding of everything we'd been through and faced.
What happened next?
Good soldiers are worth their weight in gold. Soon enough, we went our separate ways, summoned off to different patrols. The war was gripping all of Tamriel by this point, and even the nobles understood that we couldn't be getting much help from the outside. I had taken a poison arrow during one of the last night raids, and was recovering in Sentinel. A short respite from battle, but a welcome one, as any soldier can tell you, you take whatever sleep you can get. A lot of wounded in the city, but the guard kept it together and the Dominion off our backs.
But that wasn't the end for you.
No. In fact, it was quite the opposite. While recovering and visiting some friends, I was approached by one of the forebears. The siege had recently been broken, and finally it seemed like the two were going to get their heads out of the sand. She was old blood, respected in the city, and as a joint effort with the crowns, they organized a war band. By Satakal, it seemed someone got the idea that I should be picked to lead them.
That's quite an offer.
It was. Something like that doesn't come around every day. Strictly need to know, armed with the best gear Hammerfell Gold could buy, to strike fear in any who dared to cross into our lands.
And you accepted?
Of course. I may have been injured, but those few weeks hadn't made me go soft. I was eager to get back into the field and tear the Dominion a new one. We shook hands, and the next day I went to meet them. My people. We met in an old ruin beneath the city, only a few guards on hand. Introductions were made, plans laid out, and we toasted, even as Dominion spells pummeled the gates outside. As for my fellows, well, I could tell we were going to get along just fine. We headed out next morning.
What were they like?
Some of the finest men and women I've ever known. War has a tendency to make or break a person, but these ones... I don't know if you fought in a war, traveler. Real war. But if you're lucky,
Jakiego moda?
every once in a while, you'll come into contact with someone who just has it. Skill, luck, bit of the gods on their side. I don't know, but each and every one of them was like fury itself in battle. We were the very best Hammerfell had to offer, and we were going to make Thalmor pay their tribute in blood.
Tell me about them.
Our frontal team was led by an enormous Pomarat, gold flecks tinting a mane that had been decades in the making. From what I've heard, they're a rare sight outside of the Khajiit's homeland, but if you saw him fight, you'd understand why I was glad to have him on our side. A lot of great warriors out there, but few would dare risk locking blades with someone like him. More than once, he'd lean forward and sink his fangs into the enemy's face. Rip their throat out, even. The Thalmor never saw it coming. Outside of battle, though, Saja was a quiet one. He was content to keep watch while the rest of us slept, meditating under the moons.
Who else?
Alongside Saja and I, there was an old man, Arlund, disgraced son of one of the minor houses, or some such thing. It didn't seem to matter to him, of course.
I takie po prostu backstory, no.
But by the sands could that man fight. The art has been lost to history for as long as anyone can remember, but he captured even the smallest fragment of what the Arnshai once were. Sword singers. Never seen anyone before or since handle a blade quite like he could. The damn fool could be grouchy, and wave take you if you interrupted his battle preparations. But he was a dear friend. Not content to live out his days in bed, he fought to the last.
Siema dobrego.
What about the others?
With the three of us diving into the thick of it, we had support from all sides to protect our flank. First was the Bosmer, Niels. I've never been to Valenwood, but the way he held a bow was a work of art. He was small,
Cóż mogę poradzić?
to his advantage, dropping down before a patrol even had a chance to react. Before he'd even touched the ground, 3 arrows would find their mark. But he was always disappointed it couldn't be 4. A bit mad. He loved taking scalps wherever he could, but he moved like water and saved our hides on more than one occasion. Next was Kara, Altimer battle mage.
An Altmer?
Yes, surprising, no? Fate must have had a sense of humor, sending someone of that caliber into the arms of the Resistance. She could tear any of her kin apart with a spell, and took pleasure in it too. Kara never told us what had brought her from Alinor, but then again, we never asked. She was a firebrand, all right, And gods protect you if you said anything about her heritage or homeland.
But you tolerated her all the same.
Of course. She made her allegiance clear from the moment we met, and we never had any reason to doubt her. It was always very matter-of-fact with her. Anything that needed to be done, got done. She'd crawl out of oblivion itself if it'd get her home back.
Was there anyone else?
There was Sunvar. I suppose you'd call him our healer, although he personally hated the term. Sure, he knew some restoration magic and could whip up a poultice in the field, but his real skill laid in alchemy. More than once, we'd stop on the road only to find that he wandered off to collect supplies a few leagues back. Oils, poison, explosives, you name it. He had a knack for the stuff, surprising for a Nord. But that was our merry band all around, wasn't it? Finally, there was Tanwin, the only one I knew before the war, but I would prefer not to speak of her.
That's quite the party.
Nie znam czy to Citizens, czy to jest 3D NPC. Nie mam pojęcia szczerze.
Commander can send new blood to their death. I suppose it was a luxury that I could come to know them at all. Trust them. Madness had brought us together, but they were all good people. Honest. Even under difficult conditions, there was never a shred of doubt. I've been fortunate to fight alongside people I'd gladly die for. Even more so, to have walked away from that war at all.
What about your objectives?
It was simple, really. Disrupt Dominion activities wherever we could. At first it was mostly helping protect the roads or the occasional emissary. As the war progressed, we were given more specific tasks. Sabotage and the like. Extinguishing fires, slitting throats as the Thalmor slept, and disappear before the first light. Soon enough, a bit of a legend began to develop. The ghosts of Ban Karai, deadly wraiths waiting in the reaches of the Alakir.
Did you like the name?
I believe it was the locals that had started the tale. A superstition after patrols no doubt failed to return. It was all nonsense, of course, but as far as we were concerned, anything to shake the Dominion's resolve had its uses. No one, no matter how skilled at tracking, knows the wastes better than my people, and we use that to our advantage. But we refer to ourselves by our own name. Enough time has passed that the name is now only that, but once the Resistance only had to utter it to make captured spies cave.
Good. Fear's the best tactic. Break them down slowly.
We weren't suited to attrition or open warfare. Thousands and thousands.
Jak uważasz? Jak dla mnie ciekawa historia w sumie.
Our strengths lay in quick, ruthless attacks. Give everything we had and move out before any scouts nearby showed. A fireball to scatter mounted soldiers, arrows from an elevated point. Then the rest of us moved in to clear up. The Thalmor showed no mercy, so why would we show them any in return?
You did what needed to be done. There's no shame in that.
You understand. Good. Hesitation, empathy. All these things are luxuries. Perhaps things could have gone a different way, but we did what we needed to do. Only nobles in their comfortable manners have the time to debate right and wrong. The rest of us just have to live with it.
But you continued to fight.
Yes. By then it seemed like all Tamriel had fought to a standstill. The war just dragged on. Our party was moving around Hammerfell more freely, but we could only be in one place at a time. Let one village burn so you can help protect another. Assault a war party or keep the Thalmor scouts blind. 100 lives or 1,000. Simple choices, but so much more to consider. In any case, that's how it was. One morning, we must have been camped by a small oasis. A rider came charging up. We received letters from Sentinel and other cities before, of course, but this was unexpected.
What did it say?
We had been ordered to a small village on the border with Cyrodiil to await members of the Dominion Command passing through. Our contact was a bard of all fates, a young imperial woman by the name of Lavella Dientis. She had been scouting the place out before our arrival.
You must have been wary of walking into a trap.
Of course, but the letter was legitimate, and we weren't exactly in a position to refuse with a war going on. Within a couple of days, we'd left the wastes of the Alakir behind us and headed for greener pastures.
What happened next?
When we arrived, it was late at night, but that gave us a bit of time to check the place out. Calling it a village was certainly generous. It was more of a loose collection of hovels than anything else. A couple of houses, a run-down farm on the eastern edges, and your typical tavern to pull it together. Nothing out of the ordinary. Next morning, we headed in and visited the tavern. Our illustrious contact was dressed in finery, playing to bleary-eyed peasants. It was all very surreal.
What were they like?
Mostly farmers. They appeared to tolerate Dientis' presence as long as she steered clear enough to let them drink in peace. I don't know much about lutes and singing, but she was clearly skilled. Why it was her, someone who'd draw the attention of everyone within 100 leagues as our contact, though, was beyond me. Anyway, despite some misgivings, there was no sign of the Dominion, and the innkeeper's family were decent folk as we settled in.
Did Lavella have any information?
Surprisingly, yes. The letter did turn up something we could use. Dientis told us that a group of emissaries and nobility from Alinor had been traveling with a larger force through the east of Hammerfell. However, the force had split off to move into Skyrim, so these nobles were moving to an encampment in southern Cyrodiil, right into our path.
A good opportunity for some payback.
Exactly. And after trudging through the desert, each and every one of us was eager to take that opportunity.
I can imagine.
Dientis was eager to get it done and leave the place, but we enjoyed some brief respite. Each day we checked the roads, using the woods to stay unseen. Then, well, the time finally came.
What happened?
As I said, the village was no fortress. There were some makeshift stables that could provide cover from arrows, but not a whole lot else. Most of the villagers heeded my warning and left before the Dominion arrived, but the innkeeper was stubborn. Said that he wouldn't move, even if Ball himself was coming. We decided that the best way to draw them out would be to stage an attack in the woods and bring them into the village. Close quarters would be our advantage, and hopefully give us enough time to deal with any spells. Dientis volunteered to play victim of a bandit attack, a little too eagerly, actually, but she was our best hope for getting their attention. All that was left to do was move into position. I waited inside the inn with Saja and Sunvar to play the part of drunken bandits, getting fat off the latest raid and hopefully enough to get the Dominion's attention.
What about the others?
Arlund was dressed as a blind old traveler, nursing a drink on the ground just outside with Nillis on the roof or the stables nearby. Kara had a Justicar's outfit, so would move in with the rest of the group as they approached the village. Tanwin, well, she wanted to sit by me, act as the concubine to my dastardly bandit leader.
Did the plan work?
No. Almost from the moment we put it into motion, things began to spin out of control. We had assumed that, once we got their attention, the group would move into the village as one. The ultimate work is single parties. They're not suited to scouting or smaller warbands. They use the Bosmer or Khajiit for that. Numbers weren't a problem provided we could use the surroundings to our advantage. But it was going to be a tough fight. You can imagine what it was like when two Justicars rode in ahead of the group, just as we were getting ready.
What did you do?
The only thing we could do, stick to the plan and hope that Dientis would draw in the rest of them. All of us knew the risks, knew what we were in for. But when the two Justicars walked in, no one dared to even breathe.
Why didn't you just kill them?
I certainly considered it, But had they managed to get a spell off, it would scatter the rest of the group. Or at the very least, it would blow our disguises trying to deal with the bodies. It wasn't easy, but we had to keep going. The innkeeper could tell something was wrong, but served up the Justikar some drinks. With Satakal's eyes on our side, they'd soon leave or be too drunk to react when we did attack. But those two elves, they decided to come and sit with us instead.
A turn for the worse.
I could see that Tanwin wanted to reach across and throttle them. The Justikars just sat down and struck up a conversation. I remember I kept looking between the door, straining to hear any movement outside, and Saja, who had one hand on their blade. But the Justikars just sat there, ordering more drinks. Maybe they could see we were on edge. Perhaps they just didn't care. Either way, we weren't going anywhere.
How did you get out of it?
The innkeeper was ready to move at a moment's notice. The Ultima didn't budge. Those of us inside there kept up the act as the Justikars continued to drink and drink. We might have been able to kill them, but it was too much of a risk. Suddenly we heard the bulk of the group moving in. This Diantis had kept her word after all. With no sign of Nilus or Kara, I assumed they were in position and ready to go. The group had arrived, and after a brief pause, a few of the nobles walked in, ordering some wine that the innkeeper had prepared for them especially. They glanced at Saja out of curiosity. There was no sign they recognized us.
What about the two sitting at your table?
They were well and truly drunk by that point. Having a jest with Sunvor, who was just staring at them, his jaw clenched. The Dominion relaxed, and I could even hear one of the guards outside talking with Arlund.
What happened next?
A Justikar on the table opposite sat down and pulled down her hood, revealing Kara beneath. She was anxious, but there was no way we could talk without drawing unwanted attention. Something was wrong, and we were in deep. It was going to get bloody. The only question was when.
But you still had the advantage, didn't you?
Maybe, but it had been a mistake to draw the Ultima into the tavern. I had underestimated what they'd do. Still, we sat there until one of the nobles came shambling over and started flirting with Tanwin. Clearly they thought we were simple travelers and thought to buy a night with her using gold. I kept up the gruff bandit act, giving him some excuse that she was mine or whatever. But he kept pushing. Tanwin was so tense I thought she was about to snap, but brushed it off. Until the noble leaned forward and put his hand on her thigh. Tanwin pushed him off of her in disgust, and suddenly, everyone was on their feet.
What happened next?
I've been lucky enough to walk away from many situations that would have killed another, but nothing could prepare someone for something like that. Perhaps it was our fault for not moving sooner, for not calling the whole thing off. Perhaps it had been doomed from the start. But it doesn't matter. It was too late. The Thalmor were ready to go, the noble indignant at some dog and his whore for refusing the likes of him. There was no turning back. 3 arrows came tearing through the open windows, hitting the drunks and then the noble, right through the throat. As everyone drew their weapons, I threw my weight forwards, flipping the table onto its side as a bolt of electricity crackled against it. That damn innkeeper had managed to time his throws with Kara, using some cheap bottles to throw on the elves while she followed up with a fireball. As the smell of burnt flesh assailed us, Tanwin and I leapt out of the nearest window, with Saja, bloody and enraged, not far behind.
How many were there?
It was better than I was expecting, worse than I hoped. Orlund stood over 2 soldiers that had been standing guard, but more Thalmor were already running towards us. I could see Nilus on the roof nearby picking off as many as he could, but we were going to be overrun, and there was only one way out. Sunvar stepped out, his hands bloodied from beating one of the drunkard's skulls, with the wounded innkeeper in tow. The heat from behind us was overwhelming, but we drew our weapons to meet the oncoming horde.
A good death.
I wish it had been. There was no way we'd be able to make it to the trees. The horses the Dominion had arrived on were long gone. We stood back to back, but it was not enough. Our Lund was the first to fall, an arrow through the shoulder, and then a charger's sword. One of the battle mages collapsed the roof under Nillis, and I heard him cry as the soldiers moved in. Sunvar. He fought through the pain, wielding whatever he could get after losing his weapon. He fell with his kinsman, the innkeeper, teeth clenched in a blinding fury as he pushed his fingers as far as he could into a noble's eye sockets. Tanwin and I were protecting each other's flanks, our sabers bloodied by elven filth. But no matter how hard we fought, it wasn't enough.
Stay silent.
One by one, I watched my party die, even as more of the Dominion poured into the village ruins. Saja, right until the end, fought like one of the gods themselves. Warhammer, claws, teeth, whatever that damn Khajiit could do. But one of the Justicars blinded him with a flask, and a group of them managed to overwhelm Kara before she could help.
Watching your friends die like that, I can't imagine.
Nor should you. Command is difficult, but we weren't just some garrison out in the wilderness. We were friends, and their deaths are on my hands.
Ja, Stanymonek, dzięki, że wpadłeś, trzymaj się.
How did you survive?
Bloodied and near collapsing from exhaustion, I could see some of the Ultimate commanders just standing there on the edge of the village, waiting for us to either submit or die. I received an arrow through my shoulder, and then my leg for my stubbornness, and could no longer fight. Tanwin, she tried to pull my broken arse back to safety, but one of the elves ran her through when her back was turned. The sound of combat died away, and for a few moments we just lay there on the ground, waiting for the end to come. My apologies, traveler. I need a moment, and a drink.
Teraz pytanie, czy idzie do tawerny, bo wypadałoby się skryć tam przed tym deszczem.
Another traveler.
No idź. A potem wyjdzie tak, że tam nie wejdzie, a ja wejdę. Że tak myślę, że tam idzie. Jak chce drinka, no to gdzie indziej. Chyba on tam nie idzie. A dokończymy zaraz tą rozmowę sobie. No, to nieźle.
Orgnar, are you listening?
Hard not to.
Trzeba dogrzać się.
Come on in. The ale
We
is
got
going
warm
bad.
food,
We need to
warm
get a new
drinks,
batch.
and warm beds.
Pytanie, czy będzie mnie stać chociażby na ten.
Yep.
Na pokój.
ale's going bad.
To powinno chyba.
I guess you don't have potatoes in your ears after all. Just make sure we get a fresh batch in soon.
Z komu to mogę opierdzielić teraz?
What can I do for you? What have you got for sale? Take a look.
Obie nie mogę.
All right then.
Yes?
Oh, there once was a hero
Can I help
named
you?
Ragnar the Red who came riding to Whiterun from old Rorikstead.
Gdzie jest Orgnar?
And the braggart did swagger
You
and
need something?
played as he told of bold battles and gold he had
Gdzie on
made.
się skrył, kurde? Może ją by się dało sprzedać.
But then he went quiet, did Ragnar
Tam?
the Red, when he met the shield maiden Matilda who said,
We got rooms and food. Can I get you something?
Oh, you
Przecież wątpię, że mogę podkę sprzedać, ale...
all are mead. Now I think it's high time
What
that
have you got for
lie
sale?
down and bleed.
Take a look.
Sword came flashing and slashing of steel as the brave lass Matilda charged in full of zeal.
Czysto teoretycznie.
And the braggart named Ragnar was boastful no more.
10 golda będę miał.
Ugly red head rolled around on the floor.
You're that visitor been poking around.
Czemu nie ma darmowego pokoju?
I'd like to rent a room.
Sure thing. It's yours for a day.
Zawsze idzie na zbieranie, jakimś zbieranie kwiatków po prostu na jedną noc. Chociaż trzeba się skupić troszeczkę na zbieranie jakiejkolwiek kasy teraz. Myślę, czy nie udałoby mi się zwinąć może jakiegoś. Dobra, zmywamy się stąd. Za pokój ciebie zapłacone, ale za żarcie to tak niekoniecznie już.
Yes?
W sumie podkę to Lukana mogę sprzedać, tylko dostanę informację, że to już po nie. A nic.
Well, one of us has to do something.
No to nie pójdę, nie ma szans.
I said no. No adventures, no theatrics, no thief chasing.
Well, what are you going to do then, huh? Let's hear it.
We are done talking about this. Oh, a customer. Sorry you had to hear that. Well, I don't know what you overheard, but the Riverwood Trader is still open. Feel free to shop.
What have you got for sale?
Trinkets, odds and ends, that sort of thing.
Teraz to ci nie, też nie powiem. Za Chiny ludowe ci nie powiem. Nie pamiętam po prostu już. Jakieś na YouTubie znalazłem po prostu. Jak tam z pieniążkami 76 golda, to mi na pewno na kilow nie wystarczy żaden. Ani na łuk ze strzałami, więc...
Get visitors in Riverwood. You looking for a new blade?
What have you got for sale?
Blades, helmets, pretty much anything to suit your needs.
Masz kilow jakikolwiek, chociaż jeden? Nie masz, kurde. No i lipa, i się tutaj wszystko posypało z planem.
Aye.
No co? Czytam czat cały czas. Dobra, jakieś kwiatki, kwiatuszki, kurde. Jakieś pieniądze trzeba zarobić. A, jeszcze muszę skonfigurować skyshardy. A, tu na szybkości. O. O co prosisz? No nie pamiętam. Po prostu. To było na tym filmiku, który ci wysyłałem, a nie pamiętam, że się nazywało. Jakby się ktoś miał pogodę, nie ma sprawy, obsydian, ale jak było INB nazwa, no nie powiem. Tym bardziej, że ich nie instaluję przez kurde tego emo, tylko wrzucam do folderu. Jakieś strzały wbite? Nie, oczywiście, że nie. Chociaż? Nie, to jest jagódka. Chyba, że Lukan może jakiś kilowy miał, ale raczej w to wątpię. Bo do kopalni tej nie pójdę, nie ma szans. Do Blixpolz też nie pójdę. Łuk można zdobyć troszeczkę taką okrężną drogą i po prostu pomóc Fendalowi i nie nam da łuk w nagrodzie. O. Chociaż łuk to może u Alvara kupimy jeszcze. Raczej wątpię, że tą martwego bandytę zaraz znajdę z całym osprzętem. Czasami tu wilki pewnie. O, już widzę wilka. Kurde, ani sztyletu, ani tego, ani łuku. Bida w ciul. Tu też wątpię, że jakiś łuk znajdę, bo jest taki randomowo leżący na ziemi. Łuk? Kilof.
Watch what you're doing.
Przydajesz może jakiś kilof? A, tutaj.
The Riverwood Trader is everything you need in a general store.
What have you got for sale?
Some may call this junk. Me, I call them treasures.
Kurwa, dwie wędki, ale tego już nie masz.
I better get back to cleaning the store. What a mess.
Są tu strzały. Kilofa też tu nie widzę żadnego, żeby zawinąć. No jaką biedę wy tu macie w tej rzecznej puszczy, jeny. A na jakiś łuk chociaż sobie mogę pozwolić? Choćby zwykły, ten najprostszy, no.
Whatever you need. Buy smear if it's simple and strong. I can forge it.
What have you got for sale?
Blades, helmets, pretty much anything to suit your needs.
Kurde, nawet łuku. No dobra, to sztylet. I lecimy do grani, no chyba. Przecież teoretycznie mógłbym się toporem bronić. Taki. A, no tak, jeszcze. Szybki import. No. Gorzej jak mnie wilk połamie. Po 2 wilki. Nic takiego się na szczęście nie stało, prawda? No nie. Co? A, Thiefstone, dobra, jakie szczęście oszusta. Dobra. Już chciałem się guzić, jaki oszust, kuźwa. To mamy na bukłak chociaż. Jagody jakieś. Szkoda, że to nie zliczone jako jedzenie. No tak autentycznie myślę sobie, gdzie mógłbym kill pozyskać za friku, ale... Jedyne miejsce, jakie mi przychodzą do głowy, to takie, do których raczej nie mogę pójść teraz. Z jednym sztyletem. O, drapie się, zajebiście, dobra. jak się uzbroimy chociaż jakkolwiek podstawowe łuki i kurde jakąś zbrójkę, to trzeba już zbadać więzienie Talmoru, a przynajmniej tam, gdzie ponoć przesłuchują. Może jakoś się uda tam przeżyć. Może Adrienne będzie miała kilow jakiś na sprzedanie.
You look strong. Come to your Vasker and be a companion.
Well, that's taken care of. No thanks to you.
You didn't look like you needed help.
Certainly not. But a true warrior would have relished the opportunity to take on a giant. That's why I'm here, with my shield brothers.
What is a shield brother?
An outsider, eh? Never heard of the Companions? An order of warriors. We are brothers and sisters in honor. And we show up to solve problems if the coin is good enough.
Can I join you?
Not for me to say. You'll have to talk to Codlack Whitemane. The old man's got a good sense for people. He can look in your eyes and tell your worth. If you go to him, good luck.
Thinking I need to train some more.
Never been to Whiterun before? The Jarl's Palace is something to see. Big old dragon skull hanging on the wall. Impressive.
What do you know about Whiterun?
Well, I know the companions make their home here. Their mead hall, your Vasker, is the oldest building in the city. Oh, and there's a nasty feud between two families called the Grey Mains and the Battleborns. You want to be careful there. The rest you can find out by asking the townsfolk. Start with the barkeep at the Bannered Mare or the Castle Stirred.
How safe are the roads here?
Only a hearty soul travels the road these days. My carriage is the safest way to travel.
Have you been to the meadery up the road?
That's the Honey Brew Meadery. Supposed to be a big rivalry between them and the Blackbriars of Riften. I might have to stop and get myself a pint of mead while I'm in Whiterun.
Do you follow the teachings of the divines?
Indeed I do. When I'm in Whiterun, I always visit the Gildergreen. Never hurts to pay your respects to Lady Kinnereth, particularly in my line of work.
By Eastmere, it's true. Jester, funny suit and all. Just north, like a glorious farm. I've got a coffin in a cart with a broken wheel. I'd like to see him laugh his way out of that.
Well, sounds like you've had quite the journey. You were gone long,
A lot on the wind today. Good hunt ahead of us.
Będziemy używać tego dialogu o smokach. Jeszcze przynajmniej. Każdy spierdało, ale dla takiej lekkiej imersji, no. Pytanie, czy w ogóle te drzwi przecież będą zablokowane.
Halt! City's closed with the dragons about. Official business only.
I have news about the dragons.
You looking for a beating?
Nie przepuści mnie, o proszę. Czyli jednak, mimo jakbym teraz chciał, to nie mogę. Ale od tego jest inne wyjście. Pytanie tylko, którędy? Tędy? Chyba tędy. Teraz pytanie, czy ja chcę inwestować w to, czy może w snika? Chyba w snika. Czy ja tędy dam radę wejść? Nie dam rady. Tu są... O kurde. A, nic ciekawego. Czy jesteście przyjaźni, czy... Dobra. Są przyjaźni. Ty, może jakiś kilo bym tu znalazł? Albo... Jabłuszko, jakieś jedzonko zawsze w cenie. Albo... Mógłbym spróbować... Ha, nie zapiszę, bo... Flutterfisze. To niezwykła informacja. Czy ja dam radę uciec przed tymi slaughterfishami, żeby mnie nie goniły? Ty.
Yes?
Co ty ode mnie chcesz? Sio. O kurde. Ja nie mam żadnego leczenia. Nie wyleczę. Muszę czekać, aż mi się zdrowie troszeczkę podniesie samo. Chyba, żebym spróbował go... Ten kilo mnie korci za free. Chyba, że znajdę tu jakieś wyjście zaraz. O, to jest studnia w sumie na tym... Na marketplace'ie. Kurwa, do Jorwesk się chyba wcisnąłem. O, lepsze to niż nic. Ja nie mam wytrychów. Kurde. Czyli do Jorwesk się nie dostanę. Ale już mogę zapisać? Czy nie mogę? Nie mogę. Dalej jako walka mnie liczy, no. Tutaj się nie dostanę nigdzie.
What was that?
Ty. Mhm. Ała. Pauza, stop. Znaczącą przerwę w walce, chwila. Jeden cios, pół HP. O.
Finish this!
Nie jest dobrze, nie jest dobrze. Nawet podstawowego leczenia nie znam. Jakbym znał, to by było łatwiej. Poczekaj, poczekaj, koleżanko. W ogóle błąd zrobiłem jeden taki, że ja walczę w tych głosach. Trzeba je związać. No dajesz. Nie no, mi się daje, że chyba się tam trochę regeneruje, ale nie aż tak mocno. Okej, to już zdobyliśmy. Przynajmniej nie wyglądamy jak jakiś więzień teraz. Czy mogę? Mogę zapisać, jak dobrze. Jakiś pierwszy upgrade jest, kurde, ubioru. Ale wydostać się stąd jeszcze nie wydostanę. Nie wiem, czy to jest dobry pomysł, żeby się od razu do pacu wpierdzielać. A tym bardziej pewnie i tak jest zablokowana i ja lockpicków żadnych nie mam. Ale zobaczmy, może się uda. Może, że to jest smocza przystań, to przynajmniej dobrze strzeżona, to nie jest zablokowana. A nie, to jest więzienie. Przepraszam. Tędy się wychodzi. Tutaj jest skrzynia więźnia. Sałata, ok. Ziemniaki, ok. Zawsze jakieś jedzonko.
Ah, look. A mortal. I see you have discovered my lair. Very well done for a creature of such low wit.
Lair? Looks more like a dungeon to me.
Peas for brains and onions for eyes. I dare say you are, if nothing else, a healthy dullard. Well, Pea-brain, consider the walls are not for keeping myself in, but for keeping fools out.
What are you?
I am a wisp. Does that answer your question? No? Very well, I shall explain. Essentially, at the core of my being, I am a ghost. Or rather, the imprint of a living soul. I possess the personality and knowledge of the one I represent, but nothing more. Yet, unlike a ghost, I am corporeal. I can touch the world around me just as it can touch me. As for how I came to be, that is its own tale. One of regret, betrayal, but most of all stupidity.
Who were you before you died?
I was once the daughter of Hjor, one of the early patrons of the great clan Battleborn. It was the time of Nordic kings, long before Ty the Septim made this land the vanguard of his empire. Yet my father was only a father by blood, and not by name. For my mother was one of the last of the snow elves, and their union was said to be a betrayal of both their people.
How did that complicate things?
If my father was to lead the clan to prosperity, my existence could not be known. So I was thrown into this dungeon, left here to rot through countless winters, through wars and famine. I was here as castles crumbled and were built anew, haunting these damp, fetid tunnels, as Olaf built Dragon's Reach and a new dungeon above it.
When did you actually die?
When indeed, mortal. For even now I hardly consider myself dead. In fact, I believe it is that very refusal to die that allowed me to continue wandering this plane. Living in this squalid pit with only the rats to serve as meals, the only motivation I had was to outlive my father. I lived for the day when he lay on his deathbed, summoning me to his chamber in hopes that I would absolve him of his betrayal. The dying always believe they can use their own deaths as a shortcut, a way to receive forgiveness from those they wronged in life. I vowed not to pity him when that moment came. I would spit in his face and let him greet the sun with a glob of milky white hanging from his beard. Only he never gave me the satisfaction. They never brought me to see him. It would not have mattered. I could hear the whispers through the grate. My father had forgotten, and I was already dead.
The Battleborn clan still lives today and is quite prosperous.
So I've heard. There are no shortage of rumors that I'm privy to in this foul sewer. I wonder, as Alfred plots the demise of the Greymanes, if he even knows his son is in love with one. I also hear they are Legion pets, loyal to an empire led not by a dragon king, mind you, but high elves. What sweet irony. It brings me no shortage of joy to know my father's namesakes now defile his memory in this fashion.
Do you have any fond memories of your father?
They are not even memories.
Oż, come on. Czyli jednak jakiś crash się musi pojawić, a ja pewnie nie zapisałem sobie gry. Znaczy zapisałem po walce z tą Argoniatką, więc spoko jeszcze. Ale gramy godzinę 30. To nie jest jakiś kurwa rekord. A potem po tym streamie sobie crashlogi przejrzę. Bo jeżeli to jest jakiś random krach, to spoko. Jeżeli to wynika z czegoś większego, to trzeba to się dopracować jednak. Ale może już nie będę męczył tą rozmową z nią. Spróbuję się dostać do tej biegrani w końcu. Bo to jest to, że nie mogę zlevelapować bez spania, więc Lipa. No, tutaj jest zapis. Okej, to nie jest źle, to nie ma tragedii. Tylko kminie, kurde. Czy to nie jest czasami zamknięte drzwi? To są teoretycznie zamknięte, ale ja widzę tutaj możliwość wydostania się. Tutaj spadnę. Jest wyjście chyba. Dzień dobry, strażnicy. Proszę się nie przejmować. Nie tędy. Przecież on tu śpi. Czy dałbym radę chociaż strzały zaminąć? 37, 39%.
Think you can steal from me?
Fuck. Pytanie, czy jest na tyle mała jakby kara, że będę tylko mówić, że mnie znają.
By order of the Jarl. Stop right there.
Ja.
You caught me. I'll pay off my bounty.
Smart woman. Now come along with us. We'll take any stolen...
Bez maski nie mogę ukradać, niestety.
after you pay the
To się
fine.
nie opłaca. Oczywiście staram się nie wczytywać każdego nieudanego tego. No trudno, jak się szłapem, tym szłapem. Jak będę miał maskę, to przynajmniej będę mógł im zwiać jakoś sensownie. Przynajmniej jestem w środku. No cóż. W końcu nauczymy się ukradać dobrze.
Crops from my farm. I doubt it's one of your kin. Come to rot in prison.
I ain't done nothing.
Are you always drunk?
Only if I can help it. But damn if I ain't almost sober. Hey, in the Bannered Mare, there's this bottle of Argonian ale. The good stuff. Get it for me. They won't even know it's gone. Come on.
I'll bring you that ale, old man.
Argonian ale. I can almost taste it.
No niestety tak, to jest prawda.
Sure, whatever.
It's not easy being a woman in Skyrim.
Jakaś porządna mechanika na okradanie by się przydało, to jest jak najbardziej true.
Thank you, thank you. No, please, hold your applause. One more song. What say you? Yeah? All right then.
Come on in. Let me know if you need anything. Or take a seat by the
Kurde, no muszę tu łazić.
Ragnar the Red, who came riding to
Sio.
Whiterun from Old Rorik's stead. And the braggart did swagger and brag.
Naprawdę będzie coś się stało.
Isn't worth cleaning up another pool of vomit.
But then he went quiet, did Ragnar the Red.
Przecież mnie teoretycznie nie widzi.
Maiden Matilda, who said, "Oh, you talking
Dobra, nie widziała. Zawinięte pod kiece.
It's high time that you lie
He
down and
comes back.
I ain't done nothing.
Here's that special ale you wanted.
Well, would you look at that? Argonian ale. My thanks, friend. Here, take this here healing potion. I, found it in the temple. Yes, yes. Now,
Tam
find
jakaś
myself
płotka jedna. Lepsze to niż nic.
Got a pretty full stock of potions and alchemy reagents.
O, widzę, że się wszyscy przed deszczem ukryli.
Welcome to my alchemy shop, Arcadia's Cauldron. Hold on. Oh dear, your skin's as pale as the snow. How do you feel?
Why? Do I look ill?
I think you might be sick. Could be ataxia. It's quite a problem back home in Cyrodiil. Don't worry. I offer remedies for ailments both common and rare, and I'll be happy to serve you.
Can I use the alchemy lab?
As long as you clean up. You know how to use it, right? Makes a couple of... A little wheat and blisterwort makes a healing potion, if you didn't know. We have plenty of ingredients for sale, too. Come back anytime if you need a remedy. I sell cures for all ills, and I'll be happy to sell them.
No, naprawdę nic?
It's a fine potion we've put together. You'll find tonics, salves, poultices, and potions on my shelves. Browse to your heart's content. Pardon me, but do I detect a case of the rattles? I've got something for that.
I feel strange. Do I seem all right?
I think you might be sick. I sell cures for all ills, and I'll be happy to serve you.
What do you think I have?
Do I detect a case of the rattles? Don't worry. I've got something for just about everything.
Ale skam.
What have you got for sale?
So you're interested in my potions and ingredients?
Co to ja za miksturę zrobiłem? What the fuck? Dobra, jakieś złoto w końcu. Ale damn, no taki poziom wysoki? No nie wiem, że jak jest osiągalny w Skyrim, jakikolwiek przeciwnik. Pewnie, a wciąż jest Adren, bo on rozmawia z tym. Muszę lepiej do środka. Nie, zamknięte.
Just can't throw an order that size on my own. Why don't you swallow that stubborn pride of yours and ask Yorlin Greyman?
I'd sooner bend my knee to Ulfric's Stormcloak. Besides, Greyman would never make steel for any job.
Have it your way. I'll take the job, but don't expect a miracle.
Damn,
Can I help you? Stay sharp. Have you met
Nie.
him? He's a steward up at Dragon's Reach.
Kupić nie kupię na razie nic, ale...
What can you tell me about Whiterun?
Plenty. I'd say we're prosperous enough. Most folk don't go hungry, if they're willing to work hard. The city's ruled by the Jarl up in Dragon's Reach. That's the fortress there, up on the tall hill. But you're probably more interested in Jorvaskr, Mead Hall of the Companions. Their deeds of war and valor are legendary.
Do you support the Empire or the Stormcloaks?
course I support the Empire. Ulfric would expunge from Skyrim citizens whose only crime was to be born of a non-Nordic woman. But I fear that the land will be stained with blood for years to come. This god-forsaken war is dividing our people and destroying our land.
How do you think the Jarl is handling the war?
I think the Jarl is underestimating the Stormcloaks. Ulfric's going to try to take Whiterun, but Balgruf refuses the Legion's right to garrison troops in his city. He's a fool. We need the Empire now more than ever.
I'm looking for the best smith in Whiterun.
I don't claim to be the best blacksmith in Whiterun. Yorland Greymane's got that honor. Man's steel is legendary. All I ask is a fair chance. Got some good pieces out here if you're looking to buy. More inside.
Tell me about your family.
There's my husband, Ulfber. If I wasn't married...
Jeszcze nie dostanę tego questa, żeby kilka groszy jeszcze
And
dorobić.
then there's my father. He's a steward up at Dragon's Reach. I help my father in more ways than people realize.
What do you mean?
You think all the counsel my father provides the Jarl is his alone? Huh. Let's just say I advise the advisor and leave it at that.
To się z dźwiękiem zjebało.
Stay sharp.
Wszystko widzę, że gra dobrze w sumie.
I enjoy
With
this work,
answers
Fred. What can I
comes
get you?
Welcome. Let
But
me
with
know if you want
knowledge.
anything. Think
I'd
know
like to
a
rent a
shop
room.
around here somewhere.
Sure thing. It's yours for a day. I'll show you to your room, right this way.
From
What are you doing
scribe
that for?
to squire. Oh, mine is a pitiful existence indeed.
One of these days, I really have to get something that's more comfortable to wear and easier to put on.
No powiedzmy 9.
Let me know if there's
I
anything else.
teraz tak. Stamina do 100. Tak, 1 felfa. A i... Kurde, liczę na to, żebym jakiś łuk zaraz ogarnął, ale to może się nie wydarzyć. Nika to mamy na 2. poziomie, także nic nie dodam nawet.
This is a local favorite and one of the first songs I ever learned. Ragnar the Red. Oh, there once was a hero named Ragnar the Red who came riding to Whiterun from old Rorikstead. And the braggart did swagger and brandish his blade as he told of bold battles and gold he had
Ja
made.
bym wolał mi wysłać 200, ale to na późniejszy etap i to wiele.
Ragnar the Red when he met
Dobra, no to archery, aczkolwiek takie troszeczkę useless.
Oh, you talk and you lie and you drink all our mead. Now I think it's high time that you lie down and bleed. And so then came clashing and slashing of steel as the brave lass Matilda charged in full of zeal. And the braggart named Ragnar was boastful no more when his ugly red head rolled around on the floor.
O mnie mógłbym jeszcze palnąć perfumy, tylko potrzebuję drewna na krejta do tworzenia. Nie jest głupi pomysł. Zawsze trochę lepsze ceny. Może nie dużo, ale zawsze coś. Chyba, że być sprzedawcą perfum, kurde. Też jakiś plan.
Keep your eyes straight ahead and your mind looking back.
Be careful. If it's work you need, how about chopping up some wood for the fires?
Can you serve me a full meal?
Of course. Need anything else? Just let me know.
Past, present, and future.
Bo kwiatów jest sporo. Chyba 4 potrzebuję kawałki drewna do tego. Tak mi się przynajmniej wydaje. Jak podlewelować białej grani? I like.
What are you doing that for? Not bad. Reminds me when I first started smithing. Got some good pieces out here if you're looking to buy. More inside.
What have you got for sale?
The finest weapons in the world.
Za 15 golda biorę. Stać mnie na łuk, tylko na strzałę mnie nie stać. Ja mówię tylko, że mnie wywali z tego.
I have news about the dragons.
Ale to mi się nie zdarzyło jeszcze, żeby mi to powiedzieć tylko. Mogę zrobić charcoal. Potrzebuję lawendy. I wszystkie kwiaty tu zbieram. Ja długo ich nie ukradnę, ale... Strzały mogę wykraftować, bo jak mam już kilo, to tylko znaleźć rudę żelaza i żelazne strzały na easy. Nie można na razie wyjść z białej grani i poszukać jakiegoś kurde żelaza. A jedna ruda, z tego co się orientuję, jest tu całkiem blisko. Reszta będzie dopiero przy Rzecznej Puszczy, to można iść do Rzecznej w sumie. Je cofnąć troszkę. Składniki jeszcze się pozbiera jak najbardziej. Tym bardziej tą lawendę. Za ile te perfumy mogę sprzedać w sumie? O, nie są drogie. Znaczy jakbym ich narobił z 200 butelek, to z jakieś 200 by się może zarobiło, ale... To i tak nie są jakieś duże pieniądze. Mamy sobie żelazo. Razem z milionem jagód. Dobra, zróbmy cofkę do Różnej Puszczy, no spokojnie się przejdziemy. Nazbieramy trochę tego żelaza, ile mogę unieść i wtedy się pomyśli. Pierwsze to żelazne strzały na bank. Jakąś tam obronę mamy. To jest w sumie żelazny miecz, czy to jest stalowy miecz, tak? To jest stalowy. Okej. To w sumie mogę sobie zrobić szybki management ekwipunku. Miecz. Dagger. Tarcza. I jeszcze potrzebuję jednego. Dla łuku.
Well met, traveler.
I pierwsza zakładka będzie stricte pod broń. Chyba że chcemy jeszcze zejść na bok i pójść do dziwacznego błazna. To może nie być najgorszy pomysł. To trochę shiny, klinki gold. Bo raczej mnie na tym trakcie nic nie napadnie. A w sumie jest szansa jeszcze na bandytów. Bo raczej lud z nich. Może jakaś podstawowa zbroja, ale... Nie, żeby sobie wykraftować zbroję w sumie. Bawełna też w cenie na bandaże. Tylko z 5 bawełny 1 bandaż, to trochę dłużej potrzebuję. A no i też jak ktoś nie zauważył, to pod kombasem jest jeszcze jeden bar. To wrócił mod na toksyczność mikstur, więc nie ma spamowania płotkami. Pytanie, czy się perfum liczą jako też toksyczna mikstura. To było dziwne, ale... Taki system, już się nic z tym nie zrobi. O to mi chodziło. Czyż nie? Kto tu się bił? Są po prostu strażnicy, a nie są gromowładni. Z kim wyście się tu bili? Ktoś tu upadł. Ktoś dostał w srogi wpierdziel. Chyba, że mi się wydawało. Nie? A, dobra. Po prostu wilk.
Traveler, I need your help. Can I borrow your service in solving a, festering problem?
No, I'm busy.
I feared you might say that. In that case, I'll have to look for someone else to help us.
Nie chcę się na razie nic zmieszać takiego. A walczę tylko kiedy muszę, kiedy jestem tego zmuszony. Na razie żadnych, kurde, prac nie biorę. No właśnie, jest to jakaś walka. Jest zawsze nawalony z bandytami. Pytanie, czy by był w stanie... Nie byłby w stanie. Nie wiem, co mi te tekstury psuje. Już któryś raz mi to psuje tekstury. No, ciężkiej zbroi tachać nie będę. No i w sumie mamy. Dobra, trochę bandycki look, ale zawsze jakiś. Już trochę zbroi, to już im plus. Chociaż myślę, czy ta zbroja, którą chcę skrafcić, nie jest lepsza od po prostu futrzanej, więc i tak to sprawdzimy. Powiedzmy, że to jest takie placeholderowe. Tylko to blokuje. Mało. Ojeju, Cicero, zepsułeś się. God damn. To może być problem load... Czekajcie, to może być load order po prostu. Szybko to ogarnę. Bo to może być kwestia tego, że jego osobny replacer jest nadpisany przez mod Apocalypse. Send to bottom. O, powiedzmy tutaj. Już wracamy. Tak, zapomniałem, że kurde load order jeszcze troszeczkę może być skaszaniony. Ale to nieduży problem. Gry to nie popsuje. Przynajmniej tak myślę. Mam taką nadzieję. Czyli de facto muszę naprawić dwa małe błędy. Load order troszeczkę poprawić i te włosy od tych dzieciaków, kurde, bo one są czasami też takie fioletowe. Albo takie bez tekstury w sumie. Gorzej jak będzie zepsuty cały czas ten C0, to już mnie nie da spokoju. W ogóle widzę, że się zaciął czat, kurde, na streamie. Teraz. O, no i działa.
Ah, bother and me fuddle! Stuck here! Stuck! My poor mother. Unmoving, at rest, but too still.
Problem?
Oh, poor Cicero is stuck. Can't you see? I was transporting my dear, sweet mother. Well, not her. Her corpse. She's quite dead. I'm taking Mother to a new home, a new crypt, but... Ah! Wagon wheel! Damnedest wagon wheel! It... Don't you see?
Is there some way I can help?
Oh! Oh, yes! Yes, the kindly stranger can certainly help. Go to the farm, the Lorius farm, just over there off the road. Talk to Lorius. He has tools. He can help me. But he won't. He refuses. Convince Lorius to fix my wheel. Do that, and poor Cicero will reward you with coin. Gleamy, shiny coin.
Jest zero, bo założyłem tutaj bawełnę. To trzeba się przygotować na rozmowę w sumie. Dobra, perfumy nie podnoszą toksyczności, także spoko.
Oh, for the love of Mara, what now?
The, little man really needs your help. With his wagon?
That Cicero feller? Tell me something I don't know. Crazy fool's already asked me about 5 times. Seems he's not satisfied with my answer. Why can't he just leave us alone?
So what's the problem? I'm sure he'll pay you.
Pay me? You think this is about money? Have you seen the man? He's completely out of his head. A jester here in Skyrim? Ain't been a merry man in these parts for 100 years. And he's transporting some giant box. Says it's a coffin, and he's going to bury his mother. Mother, my eye. You could have anything in there. War contraband, weapons, skooma. Ain't no way I'm getting involved in any of that.
He's a stranger who needs assistance. Please, do the right thing.
What? And just who in Mara's name are you, anyway? Hmm? Come here, telling me my business. And for what? To help a fool?
You know you should help him.
Look, Yes, you're right. Feller might be nutters, might not. But fact is, he needs help. I turned him away. What kind of a man am I, huh? Look, thanks. And I'm sorry for my unneighborly reaction. If you talk to Cicero, you be sure to tell him I'll be down to help soon.
No i załatwione.
Poor mother. Her new home seems so very far.
I talked to Larius. He's agreed to fix your wagon wheel.
You did? He has? Oh, stranger! You have made Cicero so happy, so jubilant and ecstatic, but more, even more, my mother thanks you. Here for your troubles, shiny, blinky gold, a few coins for your kind deed, and thank you again.
No problem. No i 250 padło. Zajebiście. Cicero nie szczędzi na pomocy. To teraz tak, rzecz napuszcza i na zbieranie tyle żelaza, ile się da. Tam stoimy w ogóle? 250. No w sumie tak na czysto. 2 golda mieliśmy tylko, jak już rozmawialiśmy. Czyli tak akurat, żeby sobie kupić znowu jakieś kurde łóżko, pełen posiłek i jechać dalej. I tutaj zbierać bawełnę, bo tu rośnie jej sporo, widzę. W sumie jest tundra koton, to jest właśnie tundra. To powinno być tu sporo. Jak ogarniemy wszystkie podstawowe rzeczy, można by spróbować udać się w stronę opuszczonego więzienia. Pytanie, czy tam są duchy? Bo całkiem prawdopodobne, że duchy dodał mod więcej, żeby było więcej przeciwników. A tego moda w końcu odinstalowałem, więc nie wiem, czy tam będą te duchy. Bo z tym Talmorem to może jakoś sobie jeszcze poradzimy. Może.
All right. Hand over your valuables, or I'll gut you like a fish.
No, świetnie.
Do I look like I have any money?
Yes, actually. You look like you're lousy with gold. I'm not going to ask again.
I'd rather die.
Then I guess that's your
Hmm.
last request.
Ale uspokój się, a nawet z dialog nie zdążyłem wyjść. O nie, ja ci nie odpuszczę. No. O, jeszcze wilk. Co by było zabawniej? Masz taką krótką pamięć, ma. Jest teoretycznie lepsza od tej, co mam na sobie. - 27. Łe, to jest ogólnie lepszy deal. A gdzie ten wilk? Tego wilka to chyba nie zlokalizuje. Był pomarańczowy, kurwa, akurat na pomarańczowej trawie musiał się pojawić. No nic, trudno. Skubaniec. Mnie jeszcze zaraził chyba, jak dobrze widziałem. No dobra, to jest tylko blok. To mnie póki co jeszcze tak nie boli. A nie zmienia faktu to, że się upierdzieliło po tej walce. Za dużo turlania się po zolu.
You look strong. Come to your Basker and be a companion.
Nie wiem, kurde, czy ta zbroja, którą mam na myśli, ona nie ma 39 pancerza, ale tylko skórę wymaga, więc... Brzmi jak dobry deal nawet. Ale oczywiście musiał złodziej trafić, kurde, na trakcie. Jak żeby inaczej. Ja to bym powiedział jedno. Close combat to... ciężko będzie, kurde. A tym bardziej z Stalmorem. Bo tak to bym nic nie zrobił, nie. Tylko ten wilk mnie, kurde, zaraził tym choróbskiem. Znowu cesarscy? Ile razy was spotykał na jednym trakcie? Dobra, żelazo mamy tak. Żelazo jest przy kamieniach przeznaczenia i pod wieżą. Pod wieżą akurat jest git, bo jest blisko i na szczęście ci bandyci nie są tak zainteresowani. O! Come on. No co za skubanie, znów pod mostem. Ale zablokował się tam. Świetnie. Dobra, chodźmy po to żelazo, gipko, raz, dwa. To mnie jeszcze wilki, kurde, muszą zaczepić. Także się przygotujmy. One są gdzieś na tamtej paskalce. Jak się teraz nie mylę. Sami się wystrzałem z całych strzał już. Ale ten piękny strzał po prostu w dupsko dostał. Jeszcze jeden skubaniec gdzieś tu jest. Tylko pytanie gdzie? To, że jest tu czwarty, to jestem świadomy, ale kurde... Nigdy nie wiedziałem się do końca respi. Pani, ile mamy strzał z jednego żelaza i jednego tego drewna? 16? Rzadko kiedy strzały craftuję, tak się tu uświadomiłem. Dobra, wierzę gdzieś tam. Czy chcę ryzykować tego bandyty się niego pozbyć? Można spróbować. Ale do środka chyba nie zamierzam wchodzić.
I cannot best you. That's your best, huh? Enough! This ends now! I'll kill you! Is this what you want? Huh?
Najgorzej. O, lepsza zbroja. Nice. Wezmę jedną maczugę, żeby coś sprawdzić. Chociaż nie wiem, czy maczuga nie jest lepsza na ciężkie zbroje, także... Tylko strasznie wolna. Musiałbym przeczytać, jak to było. Lekkie zbroje są podatne na ostrze, a ciężkie chyba na buławy, a nie wiem jak topory. O, nie pamiętam jak jest z tym modem Know Your Enemy Armors. Co było dobre na co? W sensie buławy były na ciężkie pancerze, bo robisz gniecenia, na lekkie robisz, znaczy używasz miecza, bo przetniesz lekki pancerz. Ale topory są 50-50? Czy jakoś inaczej to działało, kurde? Nie pamiętam. Dobra, teraz tylko ostrożnie, żeby jej nie striggerować z tej wieży, kurde. To jest żyła złota. Aż 2 rudy do skopania. No na przykład wiem, że łuk jest totalnie useless na właśnie ciężką zbroję. No dwójka. Bym jedynki nie używał. Jak dwójka jest. O kurde. Nie w tę dziura. Kiedy picie chcecie zabić nawet. A, czyli topory są takie średnie w sumie na ciężkie zbroje. Czyli tak w połowie. Można było się tego domyśleć w sumie. Ale mi się chyba animacja biegu zepsuła, tak zauważyłem też. Na szczęście zabawa z animacjami to nie jest jakiś poważny ten temat, więc... Bo tak mi postać nie biegała. Dobra, narobmy trochę tego drewna.
Time my legs play up. I should see a hero these days.
One more time. Dobra, styknie. Już tak nie możemy biegać. Trzeba się doczłapać, kurde, do tej kuźni. I w pierwszej kolejności sprawdzamy tak, zbroję i strzały. Bo w pierwszej kolejności w sumie tam przetopimy żelazo. W sumie to jest lepszy pomysł. Teraz tak, to się nazywało Adventurer 26. Moja aktualna zbroja ma ile? A nie, to są 30... Nie, dobra, to się nie opłaca. Bierzemy tą, tam to sprzedajemy. A mimo wszystko mógłbym zrobić sobie plecaczek. Potrzebuję 2 stripsy i 1 skórę. Okej, jest plecaczek. I teraz tak, strzały. 24, a dobra, to możemy trochę narobić. Okej. Trochę strzał w zapasie już jest. Potrzebujemy jednego bukłaka na wodę. Na cito. Trochę czystych bandaży jak najbardziej się przyda. I co dalej? Na pewno potrzebuję obozowiska jakiegoś, czyli tent. Cookfire. Dobra, to i to. Spoko, to mamy. I potrzebowałbym jeszcze... O nie, to jest bez sensu. Jak zrobię stripsy, to nie będę miał wtedy tego. Nie będę miał wtedy... skóry. Jedziemy do gospody po prostu chyba. Poczekamy aż Alvor wstanie i się zakupi co nieco. Chociaż w sumie, co jest na Discordzie? For pelts. No skóry teraz trochę potrzebuję, a w sumie można wziąć. To pytanie jakich? Wilczych, 15, ok, można to zabrać. A tak, to tak trochę średnio. Nie chcę zabierać questów, które wiem, że długo nie wykonam, że chcę nie zaśmiecić kurde tego. Dziennika. No skąd ja teraz wytrzasnę na tym poziomie złożę rudę złota?
Do you feel all right?
Greetings to you.
Delfin, gdzie jesteś?
Come on in. Let me know if you need anything. Or take a seat by the fire.
Kurde, się wszyscy zebrali na popijawę. Jestem ślepy, czy jej nie widzę? Może... O, jesteś.
You're that visitor been poking around.
Do you have a problem with outsiders?
I'm the innkeeper. It's my business to keep track of strangers. We don't get a lot of travelers here in Riverwood. Most of my customers are locals, come here to relax after a hard day's toil.
Do you get many suspicious travelers?
The war keeps most folks away these days. So what's your story? Just here to relax?
I'm an adventurer. Trouble seems to follow me.
Well, there's something to be said for honesty, I suppose. If you're staying the night, I've got a free room.
I'd like to rent a room.
Sure thing. It's yours for a day.
I zajebiście.
Ah, another traveler.
There once was a hero named Ragnar the Red who came riding.
Dokończymy jego może historię? Jak już tu jest? Bo jeszcze nam nie dokończył.
Greetings to you.
Are you all right?
Yes. You'll have to forgive me. It seems retelling this was more difficult than I expected. It's been a long time.
Of course.
I could hear Tanwyn wheezing, a terrible, airy noise as she breathed through her wounds. The blood was pouring out of me just as fast. As for the Thalmor, they pulled back, but I could hear someone approaching. One of their commanders came into view. At first I thought he was going to finish us off, but he just stood there, his brow furrowed, staring down at us as if he'd never seen a person die before, as if we were objects for him to study. But in the end, there was nothing I could do. I used the last of my strength to pull myself over to where Tanwyn was lying. We'd come from the same village, fought for years at each other's side. She managed to squeeze my hand softly, just once, before I heard her breathe her last. Then darkness took me.
Do you think Diantis betrayed you?
Possibly. I suppose the hardest part is that I'll never know. She disappeared, never to be heard of again. Perhaps she did keep her word, but was killed herself. Maybe she thought we could deal with the larger force.
Bardziej ta historia, myślę, że do mojej postaci to bardziej ten powiedzieć.
Or maybe there was no Lavella Diantis.
Zachęci do stworzenia własnej drużyny.
From the beginning. It doesn't matter anymore. What's done is done.
What happened next?
I awoke to find myself chained to the back of a rusted cage. I was delirious, half dead really, and the agony of losing all of them had taken its toll. But still, somehow I clung to life. It was slow and painful. But as the Dominion crowed over their new prisoner, I began to recover. Eventually, I was handed over to a scouting band and taken to one of the camps.
What was it like after you'd been captured?
Your average prison is usually just an extension of the local fort or castle. A couple of cells chiseled out of the walls with some guards to patrol it. The Dominion, though, they built them to last. No doubt with magic at their aid. The camps were designed to be in the most hostile areas available, ensuring that if someone did manage to escape, they wouldn't make it on their own. I spent the first few months carefully examining the defenses. It'd be no easy task. Large, reinforced metal barriers, 3 rings deep, kept everyone locked tightly behind them. Spells or explosives would have barely made a dent. And the Justicars were everywhere, always watching. Some people would crack just under the stress. Then there were the beatings, torture, executions. The Dominion prides itself on being cultured and superior. But in reality, this is just a facade. They may be even more cruel.
I zawsze jakiś plus do znienawidzenia Talmoru.
I can imagine.
Life in the camps wasn't so bad at first.
Bardziej niż tylko, że ją kurde uwięzili w więzieniu.
A mysterious slop that tastes like boiled leather. I was in a bunker with about 100 others. Mostly red guards, but there were some orcs as well. Even a Bosmer, though he didn't last long. As you slowly begin to waste away, the lethargy ensures that prisoners are docile. Then, your biggest enemy is time. But every now and again, there needed to be a reminder of how things worked, the established order. It was a couple of weeks after I'd been captured before I saw this demonstrated. The Justicars came into each bunker in force and pulled us all out in the middle of the night. Some of us didn't even have time to dress, and the Alakir can be very cold at night.
What happened?
They brought out a Khajiit. Pathetic little thing, whimpering and emaciated. They looked like they were close to death as it is. After a short speech from the camp's captain, a group of Justicars set to work on that poor cat. No magic at first, just beating every inch of them. And we just stood there, silent, except for the cries as the Khajiit was beaten to death. That is what the Thalmor had reduced us to.
Why? What purpose did it serve?
I don't know, but it was unnecessary and cruel. Sometimes it wasn't even prompted. Maybe our captors just got bored. Whatever it was, it always ended the same way. Anyone who made a sound, cried out, who dared to show their humanity, they were taken away and we never saw them again. Married couples had the worst of it, since the Thalmor would separate us out. Everyone knew what they were doing, but we couldn't lift a finger. Some of the guards would even walk past the bunkers deliberately and just smile. To have your heart's desire in reach, your very being screaming out to protect the one you love, and you can't do a thing. Another time, one sadistic mage in particular forced us all to watch as he flayed the scales off an Argonian with his dagger. Heard he's an emissary now, toasting with the nobles in Alinor.
The Thalmor show no mercy, and we offer them none in return.
How could they watch on, I wondered. Not just my kinsmen, but all of Tamriel. Everyone knew what was happening, knew it was wrong, but they did nothing. Why? Because in the end, it's not the Thalmor who we struggle against, but ourselves. And apathy, traveler, is death. Even now, here in the free north, no one pays any mind when someone gets taken in the night, whisked away to an untimely end in Northwatch. Life just goes on.
How did you escape in the end?
I didn't. I spent a better part of 2 years in that cursed place. 2 years. Small amount of time for some, but many good people went behind those gates. Few returned. By the time the resistance rolled through, the Great War had already ended. The Dominion was pulling its forces back. Talks had begun over the Concordat. All very neat for the nobles in Imperial City, but they hadn't lived through what we'd seen. Those who could still stand ran to the gates, braced strangers. So glad to see anyone other than a cursed Altmer. Many were so weak, however, they couldn't even stand up. They just stared at you. Hollow, empty eyes.
What about you?
I was fortunate enough to have some strength left. My leg had been broken in a beating, but I could still walk. The moment I stepped out of the gates, I'm not ashamed to admit that I cried. I wept for my brothers and sisters, for our home, for all that had perished at the Dominion's hands. It was morning then, looking out at the sun poking over the edge of the horizon, illuminating the sands. It was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. Freedom. They had beaten us, they tortured us, but they hadn't broken us. After everything we endured, there was victory in that, I think. I stayed to help my kinsmen nurse those who were in need of care back to health, or at least ease their passing. Bit by bit, the camp was torn down and we scattered to the winds along with it. Nothing remains of what stood there now.
Thank you for trusting me with your story. I'm honored.
You're very welcome. But we've been here for a while, no? I'm sure you'd wish to return to the road, or whatever it is you adventurers do. You were kind to listen to an old fool indulge in some memories. The older you get, the more you'll realize that's all you have. Take care, traveler. And, as a friend of mine used to say, may the road lead you to warm sands.
Once was a hero
You wanna
named
drink?
Ragnar the Red who came riding to Whiterun from old Rorikstead.
No i historię dokończono.
The braggart did swagger and brandish his blade as he told of bold
Pytanie, że nie świta.
made. But then he
Nie,
went
jeszcze nie, środek nocy.
red when he met the shield maiden Matilda who said, "Oh, you talk and you lie and you drink all our mead. Now I think it's high time that you lie down and
Bo jeszcze nie możemy zainwestować w to.
so then
Tak naprawdę nic nie możemy zainwestować jeszcze.
the brave lass Matilda charged
Może w alchemię można trochę wrzucić. Bo te ceny były trochę większe.
was boastful no more when his ugly red head rolled around on the floor.
Can I get you something?
Can you serve me a full meal?
Of course. We got rooms and food. Drink,
I
too.
jeszcze refill.
Can you refill my water
Ain't
skins
much
and
else to
bottles?
tell. Of course. Mm-hmm.
I teraz tak, potrzebujemy jeszcze się zorientować z rękawicami, butami i hełmem lepszym. A nie w kapturze, bo ten kaptur będzie spoko na jakieś zawieruchę. Jakąś zawieruchę. Bo on ma dosyć wysokie ciepło. No 29, to jest sporo.
I've been looking for you.
O.
Got something I'm supposed to deliver.
Okej.
You look worse than I feel.
Anything?
Gdzie go wcięło? Dobra, nie pytam nawet.
What? Ain't every day we get visitors in Riverwood. You looking for a new blade?
Zaraz chwilę.
Until next time.
Czy to teoretycznie właśnie im zrobiłem delay? Nie wiem, czy to nie jest właśnie problem taki, że jakby to się dopiero teraz zaktualizowało. W sumie, kurde, tą Kerstein by dobrze zrobić, ale... Może nie w tej wersji. 26 to jest mało. No fajnie wygląda, ale mało daje. Zaraz. Kolej, rękawice chciałem. Bo też pytanie, ile te moje dają. Chwilę. Wait a second. One dają 7. Buty dają 8. No, z kurierami to mi się bardziej kojarzy historia, tylko jak wchodzisz, jak jestem sobie w sanktuarium Mrocznego Bractwa i nagle kurierz wbija. No elo. Mam wiadomość. Powiedzmy skóry i tego, i coś się wykmini. Tylko czy ja mam jakąś skórę, czy nie mam nic? Chyba nie mam. Znaczy, nie mam, bida. Patrzę, są sole pustki. Kurwa, skąd ci sole pustki wyciągnę? Myślę, czy się nie pokusić o tą kopalnię, żeby ją nie zrobić. Spróbować, chociaż tam się podjąć, jak nie, to spierdzielamy stamtąd. Bo jeżeli im damy radę, to może się uda zrobić coś z tym Talmorem w tym więzieniu. Siemano, Wiola. Sole pustki to jedynie mogę sobie zakupić, kurwa, od kogoś bardziej. Jakby nie kojarzę praktycznie w ogóle miejsca, gdzie one naturalnie by sobie leżały. Oprócz kurde laboratorium Waleriki, ale do tego to nie ma szans, że dojdziemy. Być może jeszcze kurde w sanktuarium tego. Nie Namiry, nie Bełti, a kurwa, wypada mi jej nazwa. Tam gdzie się idzie z Erandurem. No kuźwa, wypadła mi z głowy kompletnie. Dobra, pytanie, czy my damy radę chociaż jednego ściągnąć na strzała, ale raczej w to wątpię.
This again? I told you, we have someone standing guard. Don't forget the rock trap we rigged up. So, stop your worrying and get some...
Ciężko. O kurwa, bardzo ciężko. Jak tego się pozbędę z tyłu. On ma ciężką zbroję. Nie mam buławy tutaj.
Weren't expecting that, were you? Fool. Oh, that's blood. That's the best you can do.
No tak, tylko że twoja buława jest na mnie słaba, ty mi nic nie bijesz. No. No i teraz muszę być przygotowany pod każdą pod każdą broń. Kurde, u Arkadii? Żeby Arkadia sprzedawała takie rzeczy? Bodajże jest w Summermyście coś takiego, coś mi się tak przynajmniej kojarzy. 35. A, to jest takie samo jak moje w sumie. A ta zbroja mi jakie daje w ogóle odporności? O... Resist Fire. Resist Frost, Shock. Nie te... Resist od obrażeń z ukrycia i ten... Jak się to mówi? Z gołej pięści. Jest ładna zbroja. Mamy trochę po wszystkim mamy trochę resista na wszystko. Także bez tragedii w sumie. To też nie zmienia faktu tego, że troszeczkę się martwię, jak jest więcej przeciwników niż jeden. Bo z jednym przeciwnikiem na luzie sobie dam radę. I dlatego też gram na adepcie. Widzicie, jak jest dips mój na adepcie, kurde. Ja naprawdę nic im nie bije. Na legendarnym to mi po 1 HP bił. Też bez przesady. Czy ja chcę ich spróbować iść dalej tutaj sam? Chyba nie. Chyba nie chcę się tam im wpychać. Udało mi się tutaj pozbyć tych na przodzie chociaż. To już i tak jest sukces. Obawiam się tamtej 4 bardziej. Tych jeszcze za tym mostem może bym jeszcze wybił. Po kolei. Tą 2, potem tamtego jednego, ale z tą 4, gdzie jeszcze jest ten Slave Trader z Wenches, to się już troszeczkę, kurde, no zbroję mogę obsrać. Tu jest potrzebny towarzysz jakiś, kurde. Jak ze strzałami stoję 89. Muszę ładną czaszkę ty wypierdzielę w ogóle. Okej. To jest chillowa, to w sumie można sobie ten... Przecież czysto teoretycznie powinien cały czas łazić związanych, bo to jak coś na mnie nagle napadnie, jakiś złodziejaszek, kurde, to idzie przypał. No to jest bardziej fryzura do rozmów. No, jak dostaje minus od wszystkiego praktycznie. Ale za to 40 spicza. Kto by odmówił takiej elfce? No, to też spoko opcja. Tylko dojść do do kuźni.
I've been looking for you. Got something I'm supposed to deliver. Your hands only. Let's see here. I have a letter here for you. Looks like that's it. Got to go.
Riches beyond imagining.
No oczywiście.
I found these words inscribed in ancient dwarven ruins in the Reach. I believe they mark the entrance to a forgotten city. My brother went in a few days ago and hasn't returned. I need someone I can count on to go in after him and bring him back alive. I've heard great things about you, which is why I'm asking for help.
Właśnie, jesteśmy chorzy przecież.
Please
W sumie Lukan by nie miał mi... O, właśnie, taki powinien być sprint. No zepsuł mi coś wtedy. Czy może Lukan nie będzie miał w sumie jakiejś potki na Disease'a? I przy okazji pozbędziemy się trochę niepotrzebnego staffu.
The Riverwood Trader is everything you need in a general store.
What have you got for sale?
Some may call this junk. Me, I call them treasures.
Mam ten Full Armor, ten Sudden Armor w sumie. Stare ciuchy gdzie się pozbyć. Tarczę zostawię w razie W. A to bym na razie zostawił. Do krawcenia. A,
What have you
potka.
got for sale?
Take a look.
Yes, Cure Diseases, dziękuję.
Damn thieves. As if things weren't bad enough.
Dalej nie rozumiem, czemu Cure Diseases daje mi kurde toksyczność. Jest lepiej nie chorować, bo kurde wtedy będę miał zaraz pełny pasek. Czyli w sumie tak, teraz lecimy do opuszczonego więzienia i po drodze polujemy na zwierzynę. I też przy okazji, jak będziemy znowu w jakimś sklepie albo jakiegoś karczmarza, to zakupić sól. Sól też będzie ważna. Znaczy, nie mam wyłączonego jakby leczenia z kapliczek, no tylko w czasie mi kapliczkę kurde wreszcie nie puszczy. No chyba, że Sanhelm jakby wyłącza możliwość leczenia z kapliczek, o tym nie wiem. Ty, właśnie, bo ja bym kompletnie zapomniał. A... Czasu do czasu trzeba. Czy tak z czegoś nie chcę korzystać, bo mam tego ifre, więc... Niestety Bosmer na moim modyście już nie ma tego odporności. Na trucizny i na choroby, więc tak łatwo nie ma. A świetna pogoda. Idealna, żeby iść nieznane tereny. Nie. Nie, tylko nie ty. Panie strażniku, pomoże mi pan? Z tym kurde gnojkiem. Ja to... Czy dałbym radę go? Chwila. Panie strażnik, proszę się nim zająć. Dobra, dam radę. Spoko, spoko, spoko. Dzięki za pomoc. Na szczęście czasem uda się chwycić od tyłu i poderżnąć gardło, jak jest dystrakcjonowany czymś. Tylko nie wiem, czy tam widziałem jakiś czarny dym. I to mnie trochę martwiło, czy to nie jakiś atronach się tu zrespiło, bo jest na to pewna szansa. Albo to prostu jakieś dziwnie mgła się zrespiło. A, dobra. Po prostu to spalony wilk był. Wszystko zrozumiable. To jest Ice Wolf Spec. O, świetnie. To teraz kurwa elf. I ma ostrza, także jest niebezpieczny. Kurde, tak muszę spróbować. Przestaniesz się ruszać. Nie zauważyłem, jaki ma pancerz przez tą mgłę, kurde. Ale chyba ciężki, bo ten łuk mój mało co robi. Ale to jest moje szczęście, kurwa. Tu Izydor, a tu zaraz, kurwa, Danmer. Jakiś randomowy. Ciutkę wyżej, tak w łeb prosto muszę walić. Dobrze się tam kurde zablokował. który ty masz chłopie poziom, że ja ci absolutnie, no kurde, ciężki pancerz musi mieć. Ale tak mi wyskoczył z tej mgły, kurwa, że to jest po prostu aż strach tam włazić. Padł? Nie, jeszcze nie padł. Ty. Nie uciekaj. Boom, headshot. Tak, ciężki pancerz miał skubaniec. Przypominam cały czas, że ja mam kurde ifrę. Nie dość, że znęcam, to jeszcze pożarty. W sumie to jest dobre backstory do mojej postaci, że jest dalej z tym mandatem. Bo w sumie jeżeli to znane za herezję przez Talmor, to mogli za to ją zaaresztować. Kurwa, wilk. No nie. Serio. Jak nie myślę o zapisie, to się musisz wypierdolić. O, dobra, sprawdzę tego crashloga na szybkości. Czy mi coś to powie konkretnego? Czyli najprawdopodobniej cofniono do Rzecznej Puszczy. Ała. Albo na dziś sobie zakończyć w sumie, bo pograliśmy ile? Już dosyć długo w sumie. Znaczy długo, no 3 godzinki. No, chyba to zakończę dzisiaj, sobie przejrzę te crashlogi. Mam 2 do sprawdzenia. Wstanę jutro, to może od razu walnę streama kolejnego i zacznę przynajmniej tu, gdzie skończyliśmy, żeby już tego nie nadrabiać na streamie. To brzmi jak plan. O ile to nie będą jakieś poważne crashe. Także na dzisiaj to zakończymy, więc dzięki, że byliście, trzymajcie się i nara. Ja spierdalam.